Hi there, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Tonight we're gonna pull some cards on um, staying grounded in these times and about this heavy feeling that we're feeling right now. So there's three questions that I want to look at, and they are: what are we collectively carrying that makes us feel heavy right now? Number two, the false beliefs or patterns we're being asked to release. And number three, what practice or perspective will help us find ground beneath our feet? I think that's important right now. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Hi, Latrice. So I want to get right to pulling the cards, and um, I am going to start off just to get some perspective on our themes tonight. I'm using the um, fortune teller's deck. Okay, so let's see what the first card is. And the first card is Broken Ring, parting of the ways in either romance or business. Now, in this particular case, I'm sure we're going to be talking about business because we're talking about this heaviness that we're feeling right now. And with that, I'm going to pull a few cards and see what it is that we need to know. So I'm going to pull three cards, guys. Oh, one just fell out. So we have first card up is the Ace of Cups. Wow. And we have the Ten of Pentacles next. Let's see what else. What else, Spirit? And we have the Five of Swords. Now, we know that, we're all carrying this kind of emotional this emotional kind of thing that's on our mind because of things that are going on. So we're talking about the broken ring. In other words, in this particular case, I feel like what Spirit is saying we're talking about is the commitment of freedom of speech, the Constitution, basically, that's being broken right now. And we have the Ace of Cups showing up here. Now, of course, we know that the cups are all about new beginnings, emotional beginnings, and that kind of thing. And I feel like what's happening is, guys, that we are going through an emotional transformation as far as seeing the world in a different way than what, got to get a drink here, than what we would normally see it. Um, we're looking at things from a new perspective, and that's because of so many things that are changing around us right now, which definitely puts us in a place of carrying something that is so heavy because we don't know when the next shoe's going to drop and what it is when that next shoe drops. So we are carrying this emotional heaviness around with us. And then we have the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles. Now, normally we would be talking about, again, we'd be talking about money or something like that. But in this case, we're talking about legacy. Um, Legacy, even our family, that kind of thing. We are carrying this heavy weight because we don't know where we're going to end up, as I said before. But this is a tens are also about harmony and that kind of thing, wealth, all the good things that comes with it, luxury, especially this Ten of Pentacles here. We're talking about luxury because we're talking about money and that kind of thing. So all is not doomed. It's just that we got to get through some things. And I feel like with this 10 showing up here, that we are in a place where we are also at the end of some things. So things are happening that's going to help us get to this new beginning. I think that we're ready yet. We're ready now, even though a lot of, as we know, a lot of commitments that, or things, I guess I can say contracts that we were used to being under are now being broken, which is causing this heaviness. And then we have the Five of Swords. This is, okay, this is also about how we're feeling, what we're thinking, that kind of thing. And this is about the conflict and the defeat that we feel, all of the unfairness that we're feeling because of what we're going through right now. And I feel like what we have to do now, guys, is we have to pay attention. We have to pay attention to ourselves and what's going on with us in our lives. Not to say that you shouldn't know what's going on elsewhere and everything. You feel a certain kind of way. Fives are also about change. They can be about sorrow, that kind of thing. And I think that that's a lot of the heaviness that we feel ourselves carrying right now. So I want to end that question with what Spirit wants us to know concerning all of this heaviness that we're carrying right now. So I'm going to pull an oracle card, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are new here, I am Mary, and I appreciate you all for stopping by. And also, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. Okay, and the card we have up is the first step is taken. You've asked for help. And I think that that's something that we're all doing. It's like where's the help? We're trying to figure this whole thing out, and don't forget, Spirit is there, guys. Spirit is there, okay? And we've asked for it as a collective. We've asked for help, and help is here. Help is on the way. I think we're at the end of this situation, and the end to us may be a little different than the end to Spirit. And the reason I'm saying that we're at the end is because we have this emotional new beginning that's coming up. We have this 10 of Pentacles, and I think this is also about restructuring, guys. Things are going to be restructured before our eyes. We are here to recognize, to witness all of the restructuring that's going to go on. And it's going to happen right in our face. Of course, we know that we've been through a lot of conflict, a lot of disagreements, a lot of heartache because of what's going on. But I think that we need to start now looking at it from a different perspective, because we are at the end of this situation, which means that pretty soon we'll be able to, put those thoughts to rest, and we'll be going into this new beginning. Okay, so next I want to look at that second question that I talked about. Look at my notes here. The second question I said was, what false beliefs or patterns are we being asked to release? We know that things have happened that have really been unexpected, guys. And I think that what Spirit is saying, that there are some things that as a collective, we have to eventually let go of. We have to release. We can't continue to carry around what used to be and think about how things used to be, because there is definitely a restructuring coming. So let's see what the first card up that Spirit wants us to know about. And it says, this is the bird perched. Okay, and it says, we all know that birds bring messages and that kind of thing. And it says, waiting for news, a package, or a letter. So we know that we are definitely waiting for some news concerning the situation that we find ourselves in today, as far as these false beliefs and patterns that we find ourselves in. So, um, let's address what's not serving us anymore. Let's address that, Spirit, and see what kind of message we get on that situation. 3 cards jumped out right away, so we're going to take it. Okay, first card is the 7 of Swords. Second card is um, the 4 of Pentacles. And the third card is the World. Wow. Now, I think one of the false things that we've been kind of um, telling ourselves, a false belief um, that it's hard for us to let go of right now, is the fact that some people are getting away with everything. We look at it and we think, oh, well, they're getting away with everything. But they're sneaky, they're very deceptive, and I think that is false, because people don't just get away with everything. I think that sometimes what Spirit is saying is that that's how we perceive it, but actually, um, karma karma plays a part in this, guys. We may see it as people are getting away with all these things. They can do whatever they want, and we don't even have to worry. They don't have to worry about it. And the thing about that is, it's not all in our hands. It's not all in our judicial system, but in the end, it could end up there. It's just not. It's just that we have to be patient and see how it's, what the end of this, what it's going to look at like at the end of the line. And like I said, I do believe that's coming soon. So we're holding on. Here is the four, the 4 of Pentacles. This is like holding on tightly um, to. We're talking again to the people that want to have control. They're holding on tightly to what they think the world should look like and that kind of thing. But Spirit is asking us to not go there, to release that. We need to release that pattern, because what we put out there, the thoughts that we put out there, guys, the things that we speak and that kind of thing, sometimes we can bring that kind of thing into fruition. So we got to be careful about saying that they have it all, they don't want to let go. Maybe they don't, but eventually they have to. Okay, yeah, they're hoarding it all, but we got to start looking at it from a different way. When this is all said and done, things are going to be better, because things are going to be restructured. Things are going to be restructured. I mean, we may have to, the whole Constitution, it's going to be a lot of amendments. There's going to be a lot of laws rewritten. And the first one, I hope, is that when felonies happen to leaders, they can't lead. That's one of the first things that I hope comes from this. And then we have the World card here, guys. And when we're talking about the world, we're talking about things being complete, things going full circle. And I believe that before we know it, this is where Spirit is taking us at the moment, because Spirit is putting a lens on the the world as we see it. Now, we're not only talking about the universe. I mean, we're not only talking about this United States. We're talking about the world as a whole. So, Spirit is saying we're working on everything as a whole. And things are going to be integrated. Some nations are going to look at, or most nations are already looking at United States in a different way. But we're going to learn from one another, and we're going to learn to work together better. So, Spirit is saying, release that feeling that things are not going to work out, that some people are getting away with things that they shouldn't be, and that kind of thing, because in reality, that's not what's happening, because we're looking at things from a spiritual. We're looking at it from reality, but spirit is a whole nother deal, guys. Okay, let me see what Spirit wants us to know about this particular situation. So I'm going to pull another oracle card, guys. And what is it, Spirit? Carry the torch for others to see. Wake up the world. This is so right now. This is the best message right now. Some of us have to carry the torch. And if you've been with me, I'm always talking about your power and that kind of thing. So like I just said, be careful how you talk about these situations. You carry the torch for the people that can't. We're going to carry the torch for the people that can't, for the people that can't let go, and the people that can't see that, things are going to work out for the better. No, it didn't happen when we wanted it to, because it wasn't time for it. We all know that Spirit has its own timing. We cannot predict when Spirit is going to say, is saying, this is going to happen, that is going to happen. But Spirit gives us clues, like with these cards here. Spirit is giving us clues that things are definitely coming to an end. And when I look at the numbers of these things, of these cards, this 7 is all about spirit. Even though we feel like deception is happening and that kind of thing, Spirit is in this. And this 4 is all about the structure. When we look at the structure, when you look at the number 4, think about like a table that has 4 legs. It's structured, okay? So there's going to be structure given. And then we're talking about the world. And when we talk about the world, we're talking about the number 21. The number 21 is all about, which is 2 plus 1 is 3. And the number 3 is all about creation, creativity, that kind of thing. So we're going to see things happening more in a creative way as to how Spirit deals with these kinds of things that's got us feeling so heavy. And then here Spirit is saying, wake up the world. Wake up the world. For those of you who know, you're woke already. We have to continue to do our job at waking up the rest of the people. Now, we don't say get into arguments about people and stuff like that, because some people just are not ready. But do your best in not saying that. Don't put any negativity on, oh, this isn't going to happen, that isn't going to happen, because that's not true. Okay, the next question that I want to ask is, what practice or perspective will help us find ground beneath our feet? And that's very important, guys. So it's about what kind of, and we just talked about that though, but we'll see what else Spirit wants us to know about that. Because a part of it, this is about what action do you take, and Spirit just told us that, we have to wake up the world. And I believe that world card came up there because the whole, the whole world is going to be shaken by what is going on. They're watching the United States, because the United States, well, it has, we were a nation that, um, I can't say that we were so fair or whatever, but people watched what the United States did and that kind of thing. Um, so now I think that spirit is saying it's not only about us, it's about the world, and how we treat others as a country. That's come up a lot lately. Okay, so spirit, what practice or perspective will help us find ground beneath our feet? Wow, I'm gonna have to see how this fits the situation because it's about a dark woman, and it says dealings or relationships with a woman with dark hair, dark complexion, dark complexion or dark hair. That makes me think about like Mexico. I think that president, I think it's Mexico. It's a woman, and or it could be any woman, because I still feel like the feminine consciousness is going to be what's going to help bring this all to an end eventually. Um, I think that um, guys, I always talked about how we were at one point when we were in November and we were all voting and that kind of thing. And we talked about the rise of the feminine energy. And I think that we kind of put that to a side when everything happened the way that it happened. But that doesn't mean that the feminine energy is not still on the rise. I think that that's one thing that patriarchy tries to smother, or when it sees it on the rise, it's like we got to do something because we need to keep our power. And I think that's how that male energy, and not that we're talking about male or female here, we're talking about the energies. That's one of the ways that the patriarchy stays on top of things, because it gets to a point where they see their power leaving them, and they're not having it. They're not having it. But at some point, spirit says, no, you're not going to do this the way you want to do it. you know the feminine energy is still going to rise. And I feel like with all the things that have been going on with the feminine energy, they've been trying to take away things from females, and trying to, what I guess they're thinking, put us back in our place. And there's too many females in the workplace, and all that kind of thing. That I think spirit is showing us that they just can't control that, even though it feels like they've suppressed us in a sense. And you know why? Because we're leaders, guys. We're leaders. That is one thing that they cannot take away from us, is our leadership. It's just, it's innate for us. We have to be the leaders because we have to lead the children. You know what I'm saying? We bring these children into the world and we have to lead them. And that's the power that they want us to forget that we have. Okay? So when I see that dark woman with dark hair, or a dark woman, period, I think about the fact that that's what they're trying to suppress. And that even goes back to, guys, let's talk about this. That even goes back to, even though it happens to males too, but the majority of it, when we talk about the traffic and that kind of thing, it's suppressing that energy, because someone traffics you or whatever. Do you know how that would affect your spirit? And there's a lot of victims out there. So that is something that, you know, we have to think about too. I think that's one of the reasons that I think that's the major reason that we are in the position we are today, because this is not just involving the United States. This is worldwide. It's big. It's so big that people are willing to unalive people for. It's so big that people are willing to bring down countries for. You know, we see it happening all around us now. It's so big that eventually we're going to see our government, our Congress be toppled. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So let's get back to the card, guys. And the first card that we have up here is the King of Cups. The King of Cups. And you know, the King of Cups, he's that king. He is that king that is, well, he's kind of emotional, but pretty much he wants to balance things. So this is the energy. When I said, guys, that it's not all about the feminine energy, there are some males out there, and this King of Cups, you know, it represents a male leadership energy. So there are some males out there that want to make sure that things get balanced, and this is affecting them emotionally too. You know, they're very diplomatic and that kind of thing. So we still have, I see that in some of the males that are stepping forward now, but there are so many that are still trying to suppress even that. So I feel like with that dark-haired woman, there is going to be a male that steps up that will work with her. Then we have the again, we have endings here with this Ten of Swords here. There is going to be even more of the chaos, because we're going to find out so much about the betrayals, and it's a lot that's going to come out. People are going to be really shocked at what's going to come from all of this that we're going through right now. So this is like, things are going to have to hit rock bottom, guys. When we see that happen, we know that it's all over. It's a wrap, because this 10 number is also, it's endings and beginnings. So we're starting to see things kind of unravel right now, and we're going to see even more of that happening. And this lets us know that, you know, things are starting to change. And then we have the Page of Swords. Now we can look at this card in other ways too, because, you know, pages are curious. They bring communication and that kind of thing, but they are also very vigilant. And I can say, and another thing that's coming to mind is the fact that we talk about pages, we're talking about younger people. But this is also someone that can be like a spy, or someone that steps forward with information that they have that's unexpected, you know, someone that's just gonna say, okay, I know what's going on and I'm gonna tell it. And we're getting some of that now. I think that people are afraid to step forward in a sense, but when we're talking about the younger people that this is mostly all about, when we talk about the traffic and that kind of thing, there are people that know exactly what's going on, you know, and they're going to tell it. They're going to step forward and they're going to tell it. So we have that to look forward to. So there are going to be some people that's going to communicate just exactly what's going on. We have that definitely to look forward to, and that's going to be one of the things that's going to break it all down too, guys. I don't know who it is, but well, we know certain people are coming out right now and they're talking about their experience and that kind of thing. And the thing about it is that we're not hearing a lot about it because the media, in a sense, our mainstream media has been suppressed, and we know that. So they can't talk about certain things. Every time you do something or say something um, that certain people don't like, I mean, you might can expect a knock on your door. You got to be careful what you post these days, guys. There was a lady I saw that posted something on Facebook, and the next thing she knew, police were knocking on her door because of her post. Who does that? I mean, and it wasn't anything terrible that she said. I mean, we're in some tough times right now, guys. So we just have we kind of have to be careful in a sense. I mean, we might think that we're just little people out here, but the thing is, if freedom of speech is taken away, and it looks like it's going that way, but it's not, guys. It's not going to happen. They're going to try everything they can, that they can think of, but that's not going to be taken away. And the card we have up, the Spirit wants us to know about the oracle. It says your soul will find those you are meant to experience life with. And that takes me back to that first card that I pulled, guys. Because that first card was about the first oracle card was about waking up. So I feel like Spirit is saying, yeah, there's going to be some people that are not ready to wake up, that don't want to wake up for whatever reason. We're all here living life. We are all here for the reason that we decided to come here for. Okay, whatever that is, and that gets kind of deep. But the thing about it is, Spirit says you're going to draw the people around you that in your experience that thinks on a level that you think. Okay, so we're going to keep things positive around here so that we can draw that positivity in, and that's what we are going to experience, and we can do the best we can to help those that we feel like we need to help. But at some point, you can't lose yourself. You can't lose yourself in that. You can't lose your spirit in that. That is not where you want to go. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all. And let's see what people are saying here in the comments. So we have, let me just move this down. Just want to say hi to everybody. We have Latrice. Hi, Latrice. Sonia, Witch Digital. Thank you so much for being here. Arsenio, Catherine, and let's see. Oh, Good Trouble. Good to see you. Golden Tara. Thank you for being here. Okay. Yeah, a lot is definitely being revealed. But I kind of want. I know Spirit brought up those cards for a reason, guys. But like I said before, I think we should focus on making sure that we're okay, that our families are okay, that the people that we love around us are good, because sometimes things are the way that they're supposed to be for a reason. We'll never know that reason, but they are. Do you guys have anything that you want me to look at? It's great to see you all here. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Any questions for me? Oh, which says modern day old patterns coming, but is going to have a reckoning. I so agree with that. Yeah, people are afraid, but they're starting to realize they can step up, and together we have effect as we the people. I think that's what you're trying to say. Yeah, we do. The energy is shifting. I feel that the energy is shifting, and I just feel like it's not going to be long. I know I keep saying that, but long to us, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a year or anything like that, guys. It's shifting. It's shifting for the better. We're not going the other way. I think some people are realizing, we do see that. Some people are realizing that what they were following was not true, and they're coming back around. But I do think that we needed to see some of this, because the way the Constitution was written, guys, it wasn't written for all of us. It was written for some of us, and that's just the bottom line. That's the truth, you know. So I think that the next time around, and I do see them rewriting some things. That people say the Constitution can't be changed. Well, it can be changed if the people get together and work on changing some things, or amending some things in the Constitution, because it can't stay the way it is. And if it stays the way it is, guys, we end up with the same thing going around again. You know, maybe not exactly like how we see it now, but there would be more suffering and that kind of thing. And I think that we're at a point where Spirit is showing us all of the suffering and everything that's been going on, and like it's time to stop. It's time to stop. So I think that's where we're going with this. Um, Sonia says, yeah, a lot is going to be revealed. Um, Time has started to ramp up. Not only transition itself, but time has started to speed up. I think in general, I feel that too. I feel that too, which everybody has to have some of this shoved in their face before we are able to see it and actually respond to it. That's right. Now that's the point. I think that a lot of us, a lot of people, have never had to experience some of the things that they're experiencing right now, but others have. Um, which is why I think, you know, I'll just say, a lot of us have not joined, um, with all the protests and that kind of thing, because we've been there, we've done that. And every time it comes back around, we're still left at the bottom. It's like there's the equality part of the world is not for the people of color. How that happened, I don't know. Well, I kind of do know, but it's okay. Um, and so here we are stuck. Some people are constantly fighting the fight. And at some point, some people said, enough, we're not going to get out there and do the fight anymore. So now, so other people are feeling what some people have always felt. Sonia says, I feel lost. I feel like my finances are not getting better. Ooh, any advice? I think like in my case, I'm on a fixed income. So, you know, I really don't, look for mine to like increase. But for those of you who are not, um, I think what you have to do is just buckle down. There's some things that we don't have to have right now, and and we are a lot of people, especially women that were in the workforce, have been let go because that's how they wanted it to be. So I think that we just have to watch what we're spending our money on. We have to really look at those corporations that are working with um, uh, to keep us in a certain place, and we can't spend our money there. You know what I'm saying? If you know that you only have a certain amount to spend, or a certain amount to live off of, you just got to be more frugal. um, yeah, and I know it's hard. I know it's hard, but there's some things that we at times like this we have to let go of. Let go. And guys, you have to be careful at this time too, because um, I've heard a lot of respectable um, spiritualists, or people that talk about what's happening, astrologists and all that kind of stuff, keeping some money on hand, because they're saying that we're definitely going to have a blackout. That's, this is for entertainment purposes only. I don't know if it's true or not, but um, just don't spend like you normally do, because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how long it's going to be and all that kind of stuff, guys. And not only that, it could be, it doesn't have to be man-made. We're looking at the weather now. We're looking at all the things that are happening with the weather, guys. We could go offline just because of the weather or whatever. So you just have to be careful with that kind of thing. I mean, the warm states that should be warm are having storms, you know. And here in Michigan, I mean, yeah, we're like below zero today, but I mean, it's kind of normal for us, but it's been cold and snowy longer. So I think climate change is real. Um, so, okay, which says, yes, I've been having us in the perfect position. I've been having, I still do some, I still do some, but I've been canceling some of those subscriptions. Yep, and not spend as much. Not perfect, but still doing what I can. That's right. Because I'm telling you something, they don't care as long as they keep getting theirs. Some of these corporations, guys, just I mean, well, we know that some of them we've been boycotting and that kind of thing, but I just feel like um, there may be more that may have to do. Just not working with them, just not giving them our money at all, and just get the essentials, what you actually have to have, and let the rest go. Oh, Lisa says it's 4 degrees where she is, which says we've had small outages before because of solar flares. If it was a bigger one, it definitely could do something major. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it doesn't have to be man-made, but um, you know what? And I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Because people want to keep things, like I said, they want to keep things undercover and hidden so bad they will do anything. But it's only so much they can do, though. I mean, yeah, we might be um, put in a position where we're not as comfortable as we've you know been known to be or come to be. But I don't think it's something that's going to last a long time. I really don't. That's just my opinion. So, what is it looking like where you guys are as far as the weather goes? I mean, we've been having snow just about every day, which is kind of, I know it's winter time in Michigan, but it's kind of unusual. The weather we've been having for January is really kind of unusual. Um, it's been a long time since we've had like weather like this. You know, where you got to be make sure you just everything's covered up when you go outside and that kind of thing. Yeah. Remember a while back the update that corrupted everything. Everything had to be brought back online. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, it's people in control of that and that. Candy in New Jersey. So you have snow and cold. Um, right now it is 8 degrees, expecting 6 to 12 inches of snow starting tomorrow. Wow. Ooh. I don't think we're supposed to have that much snow, but we're supposed to have one of our coldest days tomorrow. Now, today we started off with -2, and it was supposed to go to -7. So I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. It's been cold, but not that cold, and just slightly, which says it's been cold, but not that cold, but just slightly raining. It's been anywhere recently from low 30s, anywhere between 40 degrees, and has been in the 50s the last couple of days at the highest. You know what? If if we got 30 around here, it would feel like a heat wave. It would actually feel like a heat wave, guys. It would be wonderful. 40, 50, I mean, wow, that's nice. But you're saying you're getting rain, so yeah. I'm glad that it's not been below 30 degrees. There's been a couple of days that's been in the 20s, but I'm glad that does not, but that's not been recent. That's really cold. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you are. You are. But then the south is getting that ice storm. I think it's starting tonight. That just might take out a lot of things, guys. It's coming all the south and along the east coast, especially for people who are not used to that kind of thing. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have it worse. I think as long as you can, you know, if you can still turn on your heater and that kind of thing, you're okay. You're okay. But when things go out and you can't do that, that's not good. And you know we have to be prepared for that kind of thing. 17 in Boston, and you're getting snowstorm on Sunday. Wow. Wow. It's been cold here, but so far we haven't. Well, you know, we're used to snow, so I can say that we haven't had so much snow that it's just unbearable because that's what it does in Michigan in January, February. And then March it'll start to let up a little bit, hopefully. Hopefully it'll do that this year. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about work. It doesn't matter. They still expect you to show up no matter what the weather is, unless they close down everything and unless they like there's no power or something like that. But usually they have some kind of backup where they can still function. And then it depends on what your job is. Sometimes you need it at those jobs. So yeah, especially if you work in the medical field and that kind of thing, you need it. So yeah, that's something to think about. That 6 to 12 inches of snow, though, you got to get out and shovel for sure. Okay. You work at a restaurant. They're greedy. Yeah, well, people may be coming though. People are coming to those restaurants if they, especially if they can't cook. They don't have any. If things go out and they can't cook. The other night, the overnight temp here is expected to be 1 degrees. Yeah, 1 degree, Lisa says. Yeah, that's something. Who wants to go out and build a snowman? I think it's kind of cold, but you got to you first of all you got to have enough snow. Well, some people will be getting it. I hope we don't. Mm-mm. Some people like snow, but when you've been in it for all your life almost, you don't want it. I'm in Cincinnati in the Southwest Ohio. We are on the line of either it will be bad or not so bad. This time weatherman is predicting bad. Wow. Cincinnati. Hmm. Let's hope it doesn't be that it come out to be that way, because sometimes they can predict certain things, but then the weather will take a different turn, or the wind will take a different turn or something, and it won't be that bad. Frosty loves the cold. True. Now that's true. So if somebody want to get out there and do it, build a Frosty, go for it. Go for it. All right, guys. I think what I'm going to do is pull an angel number for us. Oh, you're welcome, Sonia. I appreciate you for being here, sending that love back to you. I hope that this helped you guys to feel better about things. So let's see what our angel number is today. Wow, 635. 635. And it says stagnant. Life grows in the peaceful moments. So we need more peaceful moments, guys. It says angels know that life has felt stagnant lately. And that is so true. But that doesn't mean nothing is happening behind the scenes. Ooh. Sit for 1 minute where you can be undisturbed. Focus on your breathing, trying to be as connected to your own self as possible. When the minute is up, notice how much you have mindfully changed, even in that short, seemingly uneventful stretch of time. That message is so needed right now, guys. Wow. 635 stagnant. That is 635 as up to 14. 14 is 5 change. Talking about change again. Says when the minute is up, notice how much you have mindfully changed, even in that short time, seemingly uneventful stretch of time. Wow. That is wonderful. Yes, that is spot on. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys for being here, and I will see you again soon. Thank you. Bye now.